Hey everyone, this is Andrew over at WeTheNerdy.com, and I am with my wife Patrice.
Hi.
And we are actually going to be reviewing the Cubetto by Primo. I'm going to bring this little thing up right here. Oh, I'm doing it all wrong, but hey, whatever. Winging it. Alright, there we go. So, Patrice, so what is the actual Cubetto all about?
So the Cubetto is designed for programming for kids between the ages of 3 and I would say 6 or 7. And what it does is it has this really awesome robot. I don't know camera-wise what to do here. But you program this really awesome robot that the kids absolutely love. And they use colored blocks to put it into this programming board, essentially. It has a start and a stop, and here's your, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Here's your button for where you tell the robot to go. It also has a function line, which is awesome because most 3 to 6 year olds have no idea what a function is, but this does a really good job of teaching students what a function is and basically what a repeating line is.
Now we should also disclose too that Primo did actually provide us this version of the Cubetto to review, and we do thank them for providing this awesome thing for us to review. And they also did provide some extra things, modules, I guess you would call them, expansion packs, whatever call them. We got this Polar Expedition Adventure Pack, and we also got the Big City Adventure Pack as well. So. Patrice, you've actually had some time to test it with our two sons, Silas and Micah, and what were their thoughts with this? What did they like about it?
So what I like about it, talk about myself first.
Yeah.
What I like
this
about
happens
it,
a lot in our house, so I mean, this is par for the course.
It's all about me.
It's all about.
So what I really like about it from a parent and an educator standpoint is that it has multiple aspects of what we're calling STEM. So what this does is it takes the programming aspect, and kids are not programming for programming's sake. They are attached to a story, which I found extremely awesome, especially for getting little guys' attention and keeping it. So it comes with this story, Cubetto's First Day, and what it does is it walks you through Cubetto's first day at school. So you read the story, and then underneath you see that it has these. Oh my gosh, I'm so not good with cameras here.
It's fine. It's fine. It's reversed. Do you want to?
Other way around.
Yeah, other way around.
So then you see that underneath it has directions for how to get from one point to another. It also has this phenomenal mat. I won't open it here because it's huge, but it teaches kids how to use a grid. So it starts with, you'll see here is A, and then 1, so they'll be in each section of this grid. It's pretty big. It also teaches students, or I'm saying students, kids, teachers, sorry.
Now also too, I just don't have to cut you off, but you said STEM. So for people that don't know what STEM is, what is STEM?
STEM, in layman's terms, I guess the lowest you can go with it is science, technology, engineering, and math. But what we really believe, at least what I really believe STEM to be, is way more than that. So it's more about a mindset. It's doing things that are more of a project and getting projects to teach kids different aspects of life, making them more real world and more exciting and engaging that way than traditional learning.
Okay. Very cool. I know people will probably ask that in the video, so just people know.
Sorry.
Okay.
I get a little teacher lingo-y sometimes.
A little teacher lingo-y.
It happens a lot.
It's my life.
It's a pretty good life.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what the kids do, it comes with this instruction guide as well, which shows you, the parent or teacher, how to start with Cubetto. It teaches you how to pair it, how to use it, and then you get these awesome color-coded blocks, which is amazing for little guys because they don't have to necessarily know how to read to be able to code, which I think is amazing. So it's teaching kids the language of coding. It's not any specific coding language, but it's teaching kids how to code to begin with. So the shapes all, sorry, I'm dropping stuff everywhere, have this D shape on the back, and then it automatically fits into this board. And the cool thing about it is the different colors mean different directions. So you have a left to right, a straight. Oh, sorry, green is straight, left to right. And then this one is your function. So anything they put in that function line automatically happens, so they don't have to code another
So it's kind of like a choose your own adventure almost in a way.
It could be. It could be. What you have with the different packs and stories is you have a story that you follow, and then they do whatever the page says.
Okay.
But you could very easily turn it into a choose your own adventure.
Well, I'm thinking because like maybe for people that want to equate it to almost like a Dungeons and Dragons type of a scenario where kind of like you have a basic story and then you yourself get to turn it into what you want to make it. So in a very layman's terms, kind of nerdy, because this is We the Nerdy sense that it could be a very Dungeons and Dragons-esque adventure kind of role-playing type thing for
you can easily turn it into. In fact, I would say that if your kids are older than 6 or have any experience coding, I know Silas has a little bit with that mouse we have. Any experience coding, it might be a little bit too easy. So having extra things you can do. Also, what I found is Primo has an amazing website that has a ton of extra resources that you can use and connect with your Cubetto.
Now, are those free or are those paid?
Those are free.
Okay.
And some of them are people have uploaded them. Some of them are Primo has put them out there. It's kind of like it's not a Facebook group, but it's kind of like that where people have
like a forum essentially.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Very cool.
Micah loves it.
Well, Micah's our 3 going on 4-year-old. So
he's 3. He loves it. Silas likes it, but like I said, I think since he has some coding experience prior to this, it's a little bit easier for him than it is for Micah.
Right.
I also really like that it has this. Essentially, you can try it and figure it out with the coding when you put the blocks into the program. You can test it out before you go anywhere, and that's really been essential in teaching Micah the directional pieces and teaching him that just because you turn left doesn't mean it keeps going in that direction, that he has to remember to put the straights and things like that in there as well. So it's been a ton of fun for the kids.
Now, from a lot of parents, people, they might see that this looks like almost like just a wooden box. Now, is this just a wooden box for the Cubetto, or is this something like... Look, there's actual servo motors and everything inside of the actual Cubetto itself, but I've seen like videos of this where you can essentially customize the Cubetto to have like stuff on top and whatnot. So I'll put it up here. So is that the case with this? And can you like ours? We haven't actually customized it at all. Just mainly because we wanted to have it for review purposes, just to kind of show you guys the base of it. But like, do they have like skins and stuff like that you can purchase for things?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, we can always figure that out, and if we need to update the review, we can, or maybe we can review some like skins or whatever later on. But so as a teacher, from that perspective, since you are what's your title is? I mean, because you're not technically a teacher as of right now. You're technically something else.
I'm a consultant, so I'm an educational consultant, which basically means I do PD, or professional development for teachers.
So, for a benefit of a teacher in this sense, what benefits as a teacher would this provide to a class, like a daycare or like a preschool kindergarten environment?
I think it has a ton of amazing ways of teaching students early on what coding is, and that coding is not something just to be scary or something to be afraid of, because I know the older kids get when they're learning how to code, they get very overwhelmed because it really is like learning a whole new language, and some of these languages are pretty intense. So having something in kids' hands that is so tangible, and it also allows for students who can't read yet, so it may or may not, you might have some students in 2nd and 3rd grade who still aren't reading already, but they can still code using these shapes. I definitely do feel that this is something for students on the younger end of elementary or preschool. I think the lovely thing about it is the story that's attached to it, because the story will engage girls, and we know that it's been difficult getting girls involved in coding and getting girls interested in coding, so having girls or more literary-based kids, not necessarily just girls, involved in coding is actually really awesome.
That's pretty cool. I mean, just kind of the approach from what I've seen when the kids have played with it, and from when you've dabbled with it, it definitely is a lot more welcoming than, say, like the Sphero, where the Sphero is cool, but
the Sphero is different kind of coding. The Sphero is more drag and drop, and if you can't read, then the drag and drop is problematic. Right,
and that's just a lot more. It's a more advanced level, where this is basically, from how I've taken it, a very you know, like you said, like a beginner's level programming. You know, programming for very small people and very small mind, or not small minded, but developing. So, yeah, small minded people. Excuse me. But that's it. You know, she's looking at me and saying I'm small minded. It's fine. Wow. But yeah, well. But so looking back on this, so if you had to say like pros and cons for this, so what would your pros be about this for sure, besides what you've already discussed in the video?
Pros, I think it's a phenomenal way of getting kids interested in this new language, especially kids that are just learning language or mastering language themselves. Learning another language, we know as educators that students who learn a second language before the age of 5 are more likely to retain it for significantly longer. So having a new language like this is really awesome. I think the ease of it is phenomenal. It's really easy to pair. It's really easy to really quickly demonstrate how to use the blocks and things like that. I love the aspect of having literacy involved. I love that you can do bits and pieces of the adventure at a time. It's in small enough chunks to keep kids' attention. Micah, as you know, is not the best at sitting for very long times. Yeah. So he was able to do both of these stories in one setting because he was able to get up and move, and he put the Cubetto in certain grid lines. It's also getting into some early math skills. Like it's pretty great.
That's awesome. Now, some people might also be asking too, how is the Cubetto charged? It is AA battery charged. Actually uses 6 AA batteries.
Total 3 in each.
Oh, 3 in each. Okay, so that's something where there has to be, you know, it's probably a con that it doesn't have like a lithium-ion battery that you can just charge with a USB cable or something like that. Especially in this day and age where so many things are using that. But still, I mean, for that, that's, you know, a small price to pay, considering most people at that age probably already have, like us, have a literal boatload of batteries at the ready to dispose in whatever child device that we purchase. So what would you say? So that's the pro. What would you say like a con would be with this device?
One of the cons that, and I haven't had enough time to really explore the website yet, as much as I want to, but one of the cons would be kids kind of age out of it. I would say by like 2nd grade. Okay. But there's really nothing. I mean, they age out of it, so it doesn't have a whole lot of longevity in terms of the kids in your house. Right. But what I think is it lays a really awesome foundation. I keep going back to the pros. I'm sorry. I really like this thing. It lays a really awesome foundation so that when kids need to or want to move up to something more difficult in coding, they can do that with ease. Okay.
Now, do you know, because I haven't checked this, I don't know, does Primo have like a second level with this, or not like a Cubetto, but do they have, say, like a Cubetto 2.0 or something like that they can essentially move up to, or is it just basically they have to go to a different line to do that with?
I don't think they have a second line, a second level, but they do have a ton more stories. I do know that Cubetto's not that old. It was just in Kickstarter.
Yeah, about I think a year or two ago.
A year ago, and they just closed up another Kickstarter for round 2 of it that has like 6 expansion packs and things like that. So I wouldn't say that they are at the point yet, as a company maybe, to have a second level. Because this is still pretty new.
Right, so it's still a relatively, like you said, it's new production, and it's something where it's still, you know, work in progress, which is cool. I mean, this is still something very, you know, for something that is relatively new, and, you know, I personally do Kickstarters myself, something that a lot of these products that come out with Kickstarters aren't nearly as polished as that I've seen with the Cubetto coming out. Even with a second Kickstarter, I mean, this is a very, very polished product, and this is definitely something where, you know, I can even see adults having fun with this. It's something where, you know, it's not just the kids having fun, it's the parents as well. And just, you know, from me I was observing more from a critical aspect for myself rather than joining in, because, you know, I'm trying to take a different perspective of it than, say, Patrice would be or the kids would be. So I was trying to give that an aspect. And it's kind of cool just to kind of walk back and kind of watch them tell this story in a sense without necessarily having the wherewithal that they actually know, like it's like they're secretly coding. They don't know that they're coding, so it's kind of like the nice thing about it. So I mean, that's something cool. Now we'll kind of wrap this up because we're already running at 15 minutes right now, and I'm sure people want to go. Well, that's fine. So for the Cubetto itself, what would you give the score out? If we're going from 1 to 10 in the scale, so 1 being complete utter garbage to 10 being this is a phenomenal device, what would you give it?
I'm gonna say a 9.5, only because of the aging out thing. I think as the website grows and as parents add more to it, I think there's definitely has many more uses, and you can get kids to tell their own stories. Like, there's a ton of stuff you can do with it that would make it a 10. But if parents aren't as used to doing those kinds of things, it might make it a little more difficult for kids who are about 2nd grade to really have fun with it. So.
All right. And just to kind of wrap it up, you can get the Cubettos on PrimoToys.com. They are currently retailing for $225. That may seem like a bit of an investment at first, but honestly, it's worth it, considering the fact that this isn't just something like a $5 toy. This is something where you definitely can, especially if you're a teacher, this is something you can have for long-term use and definitely get your money's worth out of it. For a family, like Patrice said, it may not necessarily be something where it's upfront worth it, but as someone who, well, for us, yes, it was totally worth it. But we got it for free. So I mean, that's kind of like the hindsight for us.
Even if it wasn't, I was definitely.
I know we were thinking about already about buying it, but it was cool to get it for free again. And again, thank you, Primo Toys, for giving that. But I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up with that, and go ahead and thank you for watching the video. Do you want us to keep doing these kind of videos for children's products with Patrice on and whatnot? Be sure to subscribe to WeTheNerdy.com's YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, do all that fun stuff, and see you next time. Peace.
Bye.